Welcome. Tonight, we're going to drift slowly into the candlelit world of 18th century jewelry, a world where gemstones glowed softly, where craftsmanship shaped the movement of light, and where closed-back settings held tiny, hidden secrets beneath their surfaces, waiting quietly for the right kind of gaze to reveal them. This is not a world of bright electric bulbs or sharp reflections. It is a world of warmth, of softness, of flickering shadows that move like breath across polished surfaces. A world where beauty was meant to be experienced slowly, intimately, and with a kind of quiet wonder. Before we begin, imagine the life of someone who could afford these pieces in the 18th century. Picture a home where the day began not with the abrupt brightness of a switch, but with the gentle, golden light of morning slipping through heavy curtains. The air is cool at first, carrying the faint scent of wood, linen, and the remnants of last night's candle smoke. Servants move quietly through the hallways, opening shutters, lighting the first small fire of the day, preparing the rooms for the slow unfolding of morning. The walls are lined with portraits, ancestors painted in oils, their faces calm and composed, their clothing rich with detail. Their eyes seem to follow the room with a kind of silent dignity, as if they are guardians of memory. The floors are polished wood, warmed by the sun as it rises, and the sound of footsteps echoes softly through the space, softened by carpets woven in muted colors. Clothing is layered and deliberate. Silk that whispers when it moves, linen warmed by the body, stays and waistcoats shaped with care. Ribbons, lace, embroidery, each detail chosen not for speed or convenience but for meaning. Dressing is a ritual, a slow and thoughtful process that reflects the rhythm of a world lit by flame. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is careless. Every gesture has weight. Jewelry lives in this atmosphere. It rests in velvet-lined boxes on dressing tables, waiting for the evening. The boxes themselves are small treasures, carved wood, soft fabric, tiny hinges that open with a gentle sound. Inside, rings and pendants lie nestled like sleeping embers, their colors muted in the morning light, waiting for the glow of candles to awaken them. Imagine a woman sitting before her mirror. Her maid stands behind her, arranging her hair with careful hands. The room is quiet except for the soft rustle of fabric and the faint clink of metal as pieces of jewelry are laid out before her. A necklace catches a bit of early light, but it does not sparkle sharply. Instead, it glows faintly, as if remembering last night's candlelight. The woman lifts a ring, turning it slowly between her fingers, watching the way the stone shifts from dull to warm as it catches the soft morning glow. Imagine a man choosing a ring or a pin. He lifts it gently, feeling the weight of the metal, the smoothness of the stone. He fastens it with intention, knowing that in the evening, under the warm flicker of candles, it will glow softly, catching the eye not with brilliance but with quiet radiance. He knows how the light will move across it, how it will respond to the warmth of the room, how it will become part of the atmosphere. Everything in this world moves gently. Light is warm and low. Shadows are soft. Beauty is meant to be seen in flicker and glow rather than in sharp, modern brightness. These pieces were created for that kind of light, for evenings where the room itself seems to breathe, where the air feels warm and alive, where gemstones respond not with harsh sparkle, but with a glow that feels almost like memory. Imagine the evening approaching. The sun sets slowly, painting the sky in soft shades of rose and gold. Servants move through the house, lighting candles one by one. The flames flicker at first, then settle into a steady glow. The room warms not just in temperature but in mood. Shadows stretch gently across the walls, softening the edges of everything they touch. The air feels thicker, richer, filled with the scent of beeswax and the faint sweetness of perfume. This is the world these jewels were made for. A world where light is alive, where it dances across surfaces, where it reveals and conceals in equal measure. A world where a gemstone does not need to sparkle sharply to be beautiful. It only needs to glow. Closed-back settings belong to this world. They are not meant for bright, modern light. They are meant for warmth, for intimacy, for the kind of illumination that feels like a secret shared between the wearer and the room. When you hold a closed-back piece in your hand, you are holding a fragment of that world, a world shaped by candlelight, by craftsmanship, by the slow rhythm of evenings that unfolded gently, like a story told in soft voices. This is where our journey begins tonight, in the glow of a candle, in the softness of a room lit by flame, in the quiet radiance of stones that were never meant to dazzle, but to warm, to comfort, to glow like embers in the dark. A world of candlelight, of hidden metal foils, of stones that glow instead of sparkle. Let's begin. As the candles continue to glow, let's drift deeper into the heart of this world, where light itself becomes a kind of language, and where jewelry was crafted not simply to shine, but to speak softly through warmth, color, and the gentle movement of flame. Imagine the room now, fully lit for the evening. Dozens of candles placed in sconces along the walls, on mantels, on polished tables, each flame flickering with its own quiet rhythm. The air feels warmer, thicker, almost velvety, carrying the scent of beeswax and the faint sweetness of dried herbs kept in small bowls near the hearth. Shadows stretch and soften, moving slowly across the walls as if the room itself is breathing in time with the people inside it. This is the light that 18th century jewelers understood intimately. They knew how it behaved, how it curved around surfaces, how it softened edges and deepened colors. They knew that candlelight was not constant. It wavered, it shimmered, it pulsed gently with the slightest movement of air. And they crafted jewelry that responded to this living, breathing illumination. Closed-back settings were central to this understanding. When you look at a gemstone today, especially one in an open-back modern setting, you see brightness, clarity, sharp reflections. But in the 18th century, the goal was different. Jewelers wanted warmth. They wanted intimacy. They wanted a glow that felt like it came from within the stone, not from the world around it. A closed-back setting creates this effect by sealing the back of the gemstone with metal. No light enters from behind. Everything the stone shows you comes from the front, from the candlelight that touches it. But the true magic lies in what sits between the stone and the metal, the foil. Foiling was an art form. A thin sheet of metal, often silver or gold, sometimes copper, sometimes even hand-painted, was placed behind the gemstone. This foil acted like a tiny mirror, catching the candlelight and sending it back through the stone in a way that softened and deepened its color. The effect was not a sparkle. It was a glow, a quiet, steady radiance that felt almost alive. Imagine a jeweler at work, late in the afternoon, the workshop lit by a single candle. The flame reflects in the jeweler's tools, in the small fragments of metal scattered across the table, in the polished surface of the gemstone held carefully between their fingers. They tilt the stone slightly, watching how the light moves across it. They adjust the foil, smoothing it gently, testing how the color shifts. A tiny change in angle, a slight variation in texture, can transform the entire mood of the gem. Silver foil creates a cool, moonlit glow, perfect for pale stones like white topaz or chrysoberyl. Gold foil adds warmth, turning even a modest stone into something that feels like a captured ember. Copper foil deepens the color, giving garnets and citrines a richness that feels almost like firelight. And sometimes, the foil was painted, tiny strokes of pigment meant to shift the tone of the stone in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. Imagine a garnet set in a closed-back ring. In bright modern light, it might look dark, almost opaque. But in candlelight with foil behind it, it warms and softens, glowing like a drop of red wine held near a flame. The color deepens, becoming richer, more emotional, more alive. The stone seems to respond to the room, to the warmth of the air, to the movement of the flame. Imagine a citrine, pale and honey-colored, resting in a pendant. In candlelight, it becomes golden like a small captured sun. The foil behind it brightens the color, giving it depth and warmth making it shimmer gently with every movement. The stone doesn't sparkle sharply. It glows. It breathes. It feels like a tiny piece of the evening itself. Imagine a chrysoberyl, soft green and luminous, glowing like a quiet forest at dusk. The foil behind it enhances the subtle shifts of color, making the stone feel like it holds a secret, something ancient and gentle. The green deepens, softens, warms, becoming almost moss-like in its glow. Even paste, early glass imitations, was transformed by foil. Paste was not meant to deceive. It was meant to delight. And in candlelight it did. It glowed softly, catching the flame and returning it with a warmth that felt almost emotional. A paste stone in a closed-back setting could look like a tiny star, not sharp or brilliant, but gentle and comforting, like a light seen through fog. Closed-back settings also protected stones that were softer or more delicate. The sealed back kept them safe from dust and wear, allowing them to shine in the gentle light they were made for. But the sealed back also meant that moisture could slip inside. Even humidity, even a single tear, could reach the foil. And when moisture touched it, the foil darkened. Slowly, quietly, like a candle going out. This was not a flaw. It was simply the nature of the materials. And it's why antique stones sometimes look different today than they did centuries ago. Their glow has changed, softened, or dimmed, not because they were poorly made, but because they lived real lives in real conditions. They were worn to dinners, to gatherings, to quiet evenings by the fire. They absorbed the warmth of hands, the scent of perfume, the softness of candlelit rooms. Imagine an evening gathering in the 18th century. The room is warm, filled with the scent of beeswax candles and the soft murmur of conversation. People move slowly, their clothing rustling gently, their jewelry catching the light in subtle, glowing ways. A necklace might shimmer softly as someone turns their head. A ring might glow like a tiny ember as a hand lifts a glass. Nothing is harsh. Nothing is sharp. Everything is warm, intimate, alive. This is the world closed-back settings were made for. A world where light is soft, where beauty unfolds slowly, where gemstones glow like memories held close to the heart. And as we drift deeper into this world, the candlelight continues to flicker, continues to warm the room, continues to reveal the quiet radiance of stones that were never meant to dazzle, but to glow gently in the dark. As the evening deepens, the candlelight settles into a steady, gentle glow, the kind of light that softens everything it touches. The room feels warmer now, wrapped in a quiet stillness that seems to hold the air in place. This is the hour when jewelry in closed-back settings reveals its truest nature, when the glow becomes deeper, richer, more intimate, as if the stones themselves are breathing with the rhythm of the night. Imagine yourself in this room. The candles flicker softly, their flames rising and falling with the faintest movements of air. The shadows stretch across the walls in long, fluid shapes, shifting slowly as if they are alive. The scent of beeswax hangs in the air, warm and comforting, mingling with the faint aroma of wood from the hearth. Everything feels slow, gentle, unhurried. This is the world these jewels were made for. Now imagine a small table near the window, its surface polished to a soft sheen. On it lies a collection of pieces, rings, pendants, earrings, each one resting quietly, waiting for the right moment to glow. You lift one gently, feeling the coolness of the metal against your fingertips. The stone looks dark at first, almost shy, but as you tilt it toward the candlelight, something begins to happen. A warmth spreads through the color, a soft radiance rising from within, as if the stone is waking up. This is the magic of foiling. The thin sheet of metal hidden behind the gemstone catches the candlelight and sends it back through the stone in a way that feels almost like a whisper. The glow is not loud or sharp. It is gentle, steady, alive. It feels like a memory, like something ancient and familiar, something that has been waiting quietly for centuries to be seen again. Imagine a pink topaz in a closed-back setting. In bright modern light, it might look pale, almost washed out. But here, in the warmth of the candlelit room, it becomes something entirely different. The foil behind it deepens the color, turning it into a soft, rosy ember. As you tilt it, the glow shifts gently, like the last light of sunset reflecting on still water. It feels tender, delicate, almost emotional. Imagine a deep red garnet, its color rich and velvety. In candlelight, the garnet becomes a tiny pool of warmth, glowing like a drop of wine held near a flame. The foil behind it enhances this warmth, giving the stone a depth that feels almost endless. It doesn't sparkle sharply. It glows, slowly, steadily, like a quiet heartbeat. Imagine a pale citrine, soft and honey-colored. In this light, it becomes golden, like a small captured sun. The foil brightens the color, giving it a gentle radiance that seems to move with the flame. It feels warm, comforting, like the glow of a lantern held close on a cold night. Imagine a chrysoberyl, its green soft and luminous. In candlelight, it becomes almost moss-like, glowing with a quiet, earthy warmth. The foil behind it enhances the subtle shifts of color, making the stone feel like it holds a secret, something ancient and gentle, something that belongs to the forest at dusk. Even paste, humble, early glass, becomes magical in this world. A paste stone in a closed-back setting glows softly, catching the candlelight and returning it with a warmth that feels almost emotional. It doesn't pretend to be something else. It simply glows, gently and beautifully, like a tiny star seen through mist. Now imagine the people who wore these pieces. Imagine a woman at a dinner table, her necklace glowing softly as she turns her head to speak. The candlelight catches the stones, warming them, making them shimmer gently. Her earrings sway with each movement, glowing like tiny embers. Nothing is harsh, nothing is sharp. Everything is warm, intimate, alive. Imagine a man lifting a glass, the ring on his finger catching the light. The stone glows softly, like a quiet spark. It doesn't demand attention. It simply exists, warm and steady, part of the atmosphere, part of the moment. These pieces were not made for display cases or bright lights. They were made for evenings like this, for warmth, for softness, for the quiet glow of candlelight. They were made to be part of the room, part of the air, part of the slow unfolding of the night. And now imagine the passage of time. Imagine these pieces being worn to countless dinners, countless gatherings, countless quiet evenings by the fire. Imagine the warmth of hands, the softness of fabric, the scent of perfume, the glow of candlelight touching them again and again. Imagine the foil behind the stones slowly changing, darkening in places, softening in others, not because of damage, but because of life. These pieces carry stories. They carry memories. They carry the warmth of the rooms they lived in, the softness of the hands that held them, the glow of the candles that lit their evenings. When you hold one today, you are holding all of that, centuries of quiet radiance, preserved in metal and stone. Imagine holding a closed-back ring now. Feel its weight in your hand. Tilt it gently toward the light. Watch the glow rise slowly from within the stone, warm and steady, like a tiny ember that has been waiting patiently for someone to notice it again. This glow is not just light. It is history. It is memory. It is the quiet breath of a world that no longer exists, but still lives in the warmth of these stones. As the candles burn lower, the room becomes even softer, even warmer. The flames flicker gently, casting long shadows that move slowly across the walls. The air feels thick with quiet, with stillness, with the kind of peace that only comes at the end of the night. This is the hour when everything feels slower, deeper, more intimate. And this is the hour these jewels were made for. So let the glow settle. Let the warmth wrap around you. Let the softness of the candlelight drift through the room. Let the quiet radiance of these stones guide you gently into rest. Thank you for spending this time in the candlelit world of 18th century jewelry. Sleep well. I'll see you again soon.